Hello and welcome back to Tay Radio Marin. I am your host, Javier Vicuna, and on today's show, I am joined by my co-host,
Annalie Reyes.
And today we have two very special guests from Children for Change. We have Emma and Alexandra. Thank you both for being with us here today. I'm excited to learn more about Children for Change, as well as things we want to see here in the community of Marin County. So I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Berry, and I'm in 8th grade at White Hill Middle School.
I'm Emma McFerrin, and I'm a freshman at Archie Williams High School. I'm also a youth ambassador on the Children for Change board and Children for Change club. I run the club at Archie as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. I was letting Annalie know that I think you guys are like our youngest people we've had on the show thus far. So it's really cool to have, especially a middle schooler, to be here on the show. Because personally for me, I don't know. I actually never, like I said, I've only gone to Drake, or I knew Archie Williams as Drake back when I was in high school, and I only went there to go watch a play. That's as far as I know about that school. And I know I knew about White Hill Middle School, but I never knew. So what are you guys' thoughts on those schools?
I've had a great experience with White Hill. The community is pretty great there, and all of my teachers are also pretty great. And overall, it's been pretty good for me.
Yeah, you like it over there? Great.
Yeah.
Is it a small school?
It's pretty big. I'd say there's 800 kids in total, all 3 grades.
Whoa, that's a ton of kids. 800?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate. But
It's somewhere between 600 and 800.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if Davidson was that big. I feel like Davidson probably was that big. I don't know. Middle schools are big.
San Jose.
Yeah.
I went to San Jose Middle School and it's pretty big too. So, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I also went to White Hill. I was in that school district is the Ross Valley School District, and I was there from kindergarten to 8th grade. Yeah, I had a great experience. Like Alexandra was saying, the teachers are really great. There's a couple in particular that were just very supportive and really nice and great teachers. And I don't think we'll forget that. So it's a really good experience that I definitely have taken with me in high school.
And so far, how's your transition from middle school to high school?
I've really liked it. The homework has been pretty similar, actually. We kind of have a weird system at Archie. We have something called small learning communities.
Huh.
Yeah, it's we basically have the same group of kids in our classes for English and science and history, which is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Are you also planning to go to Archie Williams as well, Alexandra?
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the mascot over there? Is it still the Pirates?
It's the Falcons now.
Oh, the Falcons now. Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
so many changes. But
Yeah.
lots of changes in this community, as you already know. But thank you guys for just letting us know a little bit more about yourselves. So let's just jump right into it. So what is Children for Change? Like, what is their mission? What is? I know it's a nonprofit organization, but what exactly is it that they do?
So Children for Change gives children and teens many opportunities to participate and volunteer and to contribute to making positive changes in our community and our society. And some of the topics that we focus on in Children for Change include climate change, racial injustice, food inequalities, and a lot more. And Children for Change gives children and teens access to volunteering, so we can kind of see what is going on in the community and kind of do hands-on activities. And so Children for Change also works to build the community stronger, and they teach and help educate us, the kids, on the topics in our society, so we can feel confident for advocating for these topics. And yeah.
And what ages does it start for Children of Change?
It used to be just 3rd through 5th grade. That's how it started in elementary schools. I can't hear. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So okay, 3rd through 5th, but it seems that now it's open to middle schoolers.
Yeah. So and not only has it opened up to middle school, but also Archie is the first high school to do it, which has been a really fun opportunity because we've been given a lot of responsibility and in particular doing this big fundraiser for Children for Change. It's called the Children for Change Challenge. It's an annual fundraiser that it's a hike up Mount Baldy, and then it once they get, which is in San Anselmo.
Oh, okay.
And then it comes back to town hall, and there's a bunch of games, and we get sponsors from local businesses.
I see.
And the high school club has been organizing a lot of that, which has been really, really fun. It's on April 23rd, if anyone is interested.
April 23rd. Yeah, so we actually might table at that event.
Yeah.
So we actually got invited by Gretchen. So shout out to Gretchen. She was actually supposed to be on the show with us today, but she's great. And you guys work closely with her, I imagine. So yeah, just shout out to Gretchen. So you said that you guys still do volunteer opportunities, right? For children, for elementary to middle school. What are some of those opportunities, those volunteer opportunities that you guys provide?
Some of my favorites of the opportunities that we get from Children for Change are my favorite one is the sack lunch making at St. Vincent de Paul. It's a great thing to do with your friends. You kind of go and you do little assembly lines, and you make a bunch of sack lunches, and then they later get distributed to people who may need them or who are food insecure.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of opportunities Children for Change provides. It used to be every Wednesday, you could go to the Gilead House.
Sorry, where's that?
Where is it?
Is it in San Anselmo?
I think it's
No.
Novato.
It's
Novato,
yeah.
Gilead House.
And you could go and help kids and mothers who were dealing with insecurity with their food insecurity and also housing. And you would play with the kids and help them with their homework. And it was a really fun and also interesting to see and be a part of.
Cool. And I think you guys also help with the food pantries as well, right? On Saturdays?
Yeah.
Yes.
Through the Multicultural Center?
Exactly,
So that's really cool. I've seen pictures of that. I think, do you guys help out with the reading books? Like reading the books? Or no, that's something else? Or what do you guys do there in particular?
So Multicultural Center is also another one of my favorites. It's such a great opportunity to meet and kind of work with so many different people. And what we normally do there, what I've done there, we go with my family quite a few weekends.
Yeah.
And we set up assembly lines, and a big food truck comes, or a truck that carries food and delivers it to the center.
Yeah.
We set up the food, and when the people who need the food come, they go down the assembly line, and we help put the food into their bags. And they're big grocery bags. It's not sack lunches. It's a big grocery bag that we fill. So instead of having food for one time, it's food for dinner or lunch or a week or two. Yeah.
Gotcha. Annalie, did you want to add?
Yeah, and so you guys showed about different volunteer opportunities for youth, but is there anything else that you guys do besides that? Any programs?
Yeah, a large part of Children for Change is empowering youth to be able to advocate for themselves and what they believe in. So a lot of it is educational, and we learn about a lot of different social justice issues. Like we were just talking about food insecurity, and we talk about homelessness, and Alexandra listed a very nice list of it, like racial equity and a lot of different issues. And Children for Change empowers youth to be able to advocate for that. I've spoken in the town council before, talking about climate change and plastic, and there's been a lot of opportunities, not only volunteering, but talking about advocacy.
And the stuff that you learn, is it during lunch, after school? What time?
So Actually, a new thing for Children for Change has been taking the clubs that it used to be at an elementary school and implementing the curriculum into classes. So now there's like K through fifth grade, there's actual like classes, Children for Change classes, which I think is a really cool concept. I think it's different because everyone's doing it and everyone's learning about the social justice issues, not just people who seek it out, which I think is a really good change.
No, to me, it's so exciting to hear that kids that are literally kindergartners or, in elementary school are learning about social justice issues because, bro, when I was in elementary school, I mean, I grew up with a whole lot of problems. So I learned that way, but I didn't learn. It would have been great to learn actual, again, what is social justice, what work you can do, like that you can advocate with your voice, right? So that's so sick to just know.
And it's also cool because it's not just educational. It's like you're learning about the issues, but there's also opportunities given to actually take action. So it a lot of times it can feel kind of ironic in a way to talk about social justice issues because you're just talking about it and not doing anything. So I really like how Children for Change not only provides the educational side, but also opportunities.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what improvements would you guys want for Children for Change? I know you guys love the new improvements about the elementary part, but is there anything else that you guys would like to see?
I'd like to see Children for Change be more accessible to people. I know we've been expanding a lot, but I think it would be really cool to expand even more. So people that not only like live in Marin County, but other places can also get like the same education and the same volunteer opportunities to like do these things and learn and educate yourself on them.
And the middle school experience too. That's been a little challenging, right?
Yeah. Middle schoolers can be tough sometimes. So it's really hard for middle schoolers to get involved and want to do these things. And so me and a couple friends who also are part of Children for Change have tried to have a club at White Hill. And it hasn't gone the most well. There's been no participants willing to show up and join. But
that it's tough. I mean, we've been in similar situations before. It's the same thing with high schoolers. High schoolers have their heads on all. Like actually, that middle school to high school kind of level. It's really hard to get like outreach that really reaches like really like makes them want to participate because they're just worried about other things or they just want to focus on other things. They're more independent, right? They think they're more independent, and it's good to be independent, but also what I have to say about that is just keep doing it, keep advocating for it, because eventually the word will get there as long as you don't let it die.
Yeah,
just keep it alive, because there's gonna be eventually people are gonna start like, okay, knowing about it more. Like you guys are a prime example, right, of people who have gone through Children for Change and have gotten a lot out of it. So the more word of mouth, the more that people see, that's a bigger scale thing. But like, thank you for being honest about that.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to mention, so you both of you are youth ambassadors for Children for Change. How has that been? How has it been like serving on a board, like a because that basically puts you on the board for Children for Change. So what does that kind of like allow you to do?
It's been an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
It's been a great opportunity to have a leadership role, and also watch a board of people who are incredibly intelligent adults and see how they have these discussions and be a part of it. It's really hard to find that. It's a unique experience, and it's something that I can definitely take with me.
Same.
Is these board meetings every month?
They are pretty infrequent, actually.
Yeah.
We have like 4, 5 a year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that happens in between, but the meetings are pretty long.
So from what I'm getting is that Children Change, like kids can go and apply to be volunteers. And did you guys have to apply to be youth ambassadors?
It started in our lunchtime clubs, And one day, me and my friends were like, oh my gosh, this seems so cool. Like, we should totally join. So we went one meeting at lunch, and we did so many fun activities. And I felt like I learned so much that I didn't know.
Could you describe some of those activities?
Yeah, so we made a Chutes and Ladders board game out of plastic and straws that we found around campus.
Oh, wow.
It was so fun. Us as little third graders with our Chutes and Ladders made out of plastic and trash. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Kind of do. That was, I feel like, one of the most memorable things. And after we went to a couple meetings, we just kept going because it was just, we had so much fun. All the activities we do in Children for Change are super engaging. And we don't just like learn about the topics. We
do it in fun ways.
Yeah, we're like hands-on, as Emma said, and yeah.
Yeah, and so from that, we both became very engaged and interested in Children for Change, and I've been doing it since third grade, so it's been a while.
Sorry, and you said you were doing it since third grade as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And we were just asked to be a part of the board.
Nice.
Yeah, by Annalise Bauer, who started
Annalise
it.
Bauer. Yeah, yeah, we met her a couple times.
She's
Great.
incredible.
She is.
That's really cool to see that, like, you guys like started without thinking, oh, I want to be a youth ambassador, but you guys started by volunteering and doing your own little things to encourage other people to do, especially in elementary school. I think you really have to like think outside of the box when you're little, and it's really exciting to have that like free time. I remember in elementary school, we would have that free time to go outside in the field, play games, and that's like when you learn a lot, especially because it's hands-on.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in elementary school, I don't know, I went to Laurel Dell, and at the time it was a very underdeveloped school when I was going over there. I think I only really got opportunities like that when I was in elementary school, like with Trips for Kids, like with fixing like I'm sure they've come to your middle school, right, to like show you how to fix a bike or like with bikes or anything. No,
I
They
think
actually haven't.
I don't.
no,
think,
they haven't. Oh, okay, never. Okay, well, that was like a thing that I guess happened in elementary school. I remember like in 4th or 5th grade, I learned how to like fix a bike or like put a chain on a bike or something.
We had similar things like
Yeah.
that. We had H2O. It was a water organization that came and presented and did dances and songs, and we learned a lot from that. That was one of the memories I had from that.
We also had like a road safety one that
Yes.
was kind of
road
similar,
safety
but
one.
it wasn't like fixing bikes. It was,
Okay.
I don't know.
Good to know. I just goes to show how different also the school districts are, because I've only gone to schools here in the San Rafael City School District, but you guys are part of the Ross Valley School
Now
District.
technically TAM.
Or TAM. Oh, is
Because
that
our
is that what they're
TAM,
changing it
yeah.
to? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
There's no high school in the Ross Valley School
Oh,
District.
sorry. Ross Valley District
Yeah.
is only for middle school,
Yeah.
elementary schools.
Yeah.
Ross Valley School District feeds into the TAM district.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
The more you know.
Is there any exciting news that you guys are planning to do in the future for?
Yeah, like we know that one event on April 23rd is coming
Yeah.
up, but are there any other events that Children for Change are planning or that you guys have in mind that you guys want to like share about,
I don't think.
essentially?
I think the big one is just the challenge that's
Okay.
on April 23rd.
Yeah.
But is there any kind of event that you guys would like to potentially bring up? Like, have you guys ever thought about that? Like thinking about other events that Children for Change could host?
Last year, me and Emma and a couple of the club members, we did a little, I guess it would be an event with Bloom down in San Rafael here.
What's Bloom? Is that a clothing store?
Yeah, it is.
Clothing store, yeah, that's what I thought.
We were talking about fast fashion and the impacts on the environment.
Yeah.
And so we kind of got together as a club and we were like, so what can we do about this? And just like at our school and in our community. And what we came to conclude was that we can do a clothing drive and then we sold it, all the clothes.
Yeah.
And then we gave the money and any extra clothes that we didn't sell to Bloom, which they provide a lot of secondhand, I believe. Yeah, secondhand clothes. And specifically it's geared towards people with like financial insecurity, especially if they're trying to get a job and don't maybe have the right clothes for that. It's a really great store.
Yes.
That's important. No, that's super big because again, I'm such a big advocate for thrifting your clothes, especially with like how expensive like new clothes can be, especially like Urban Outfitters, bro. The prices are insane over there, Urban Outfitters.
$60 for a shirt is crazy.
Yeah, like $85 for some pants or like a sweater or something is
Not
insane
for
to me.
me.
Yeah, it's insane to me to see those prices. But we have a lot of great thrift stores here in San Rafael. And you know, I growing up, I remember getting a lot of clothes from Goodwill, you know, which has been open for a really long time now. That Goodwill right there. But that's awesome that again, you guys are learning about these issues and capitalizing on fixing these issues.
Yeah.
Like that is so cool. At your guys' age, like I wasn't even doing that, bro. At that age, it's so cool to hear this.
I'd like to do something like that again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, have you guys ever participated in any of the rallies or marches here in San? Which one did you participate in?
It wasn't in San Rafael, but I'm not exactly sure what it was, like what the like organization that did it was, but we participated in a Black Lives Matter march back in 2020 when a lot of the issues were prominent, and they still are right now, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see, it's good to know that, again, that people like you are like going out there and really showing yourselves and doing, because it's important to be a part of that. Like, it's one thing to speak all this and know all this knowledge, but it's another participating in these events. Yeah.
And for the fundraiser, I know that you guys are trying to earn a certain amount of money, but what do you guys plan to do with that money?
Oh, this is actually very cool and was very exciting when I was an elementary school student. So from it used to be clubs, now it's classes, but all the schools that had Children for Change clubs would have, they would pick 2 people from every club and they would meet at what was called the Children for Change Summit. Oh. And this was after the Children for Change Challenge when we raised all this money, and a large portion of the money would be distributed to whatever organizations the kids decided, which is, I think, a fabulous idea. Because it took the topics that the kids were learning about, and they got to choose where they wanted it to go, which is not only a good like leadership opportunity, but also like the being able to think about what these organizations are and where the money would go to, and just critically thinking about, we have all this money and this is what we're going to do with it. It was really cool to participate in those.
Yeah.
Nice. So what would be your top 2 organizations? Yes.
Oh my, that's a hard question.
Putting it on the spot.
There's a lot of really good organizations here in particular.
Oh, okay. Anyone that you
which one's like
name?
your favorite? Yeah, I guess.
I remember, I'm not exactly sure which one it was, but there was a really cool one for refugees and people who were, But I also remember there was one for like the Spar Center.
Oh, the Spar Center, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there was, one of them might have been for the Gilead House.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Interesting.
Thank you. And then, so for the Children of Change, so when you guys were in middle school or elementary school, right? Was the Children for Change Club already established at the time? And how did? Yeah.
Yeah, it was already when I joined Children for Change in 3rd grade. I think they had been doing it for a few years before we were in 3rd grade and we joined. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like 3 co-founders of Children for Change. It was Annalise Bauer and 2 of her kids, who are twins. How old are they? I think they're maybe freshmen in college.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But so it was a pretty long time ago.
Yeah.
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 it's also cool that it was founded by kids, at least partially.
Partially, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Annalise still does so much with it. Yeah, she is a superhuman.
Yes.
For sure.
That's awesome. And then, do you guys know if there's any plans? So I know you guys moved from they moved the Children for Change program from elementary schools to middle schools now,
And high school.
Okay, so they are moving it up to high schools.
Yeah, it's in one high school right now. I think it's not at a point where like they're necessarily seeking it out and like it's not a priority, but I didn't want to stop doing it. So I had ran the club with Alexandra in 8th grade at White Hill, and then I just kept doing it in Archie, and I do it with someone else too. So me and a junior, Sarah Blanchard.
Up at
together
Archie Williams.
At Archie, yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Emma took it with her from White Hill to Archie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And she'll join next year.
Perfect.
Do you guys know, let's say like from people from Novato High who want to like join, do you guys know who to contact?
I think a default is always Annalise. She knows everything. She is everywhere. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan, if you can't tell.
we love Annalise. We wouldn't be here without her.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Speaking of that, so do you know what other schools other than White Hill and Archie Williams have Children for Change? Like, have you guys gone to other schools like before? Like, okay. What I'm trying to say is, have you guys collaborated with other schools on Children for Change events or clubs have meshed together, anything like that?
Really, the only big like mesh event is the challenge, because that's really everything Children for Change, everyone involved and more in the community. I haven't gone to other schools, but it's actually reached to a lot of different schools. I don't know if I want to try to list them because I'm probably going to mess it up.
No, that's all good. But okay, that's just good to know for our end.
It's in Del Mar.
Glenwood. There's definitely a couple more.
There's definitely more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely expanded from its initial just Ross Valley School.
Ross Valley School, yeah, I got you. All right, and just one more question. So if someone, so anyone, it's open to anyone in elementary and middle school to just join, come up, and there should be a club there that they could just go and automatically just join like that.
In middle school and at Archie, and then elementary school is the classes.
Okay, and there's no application process for that. No. Oh, okay. So you just sign up like that.
No.
Okay,
That's good.
great. Yeah, that's good because I know you guys were talking about accessibility, right? And actually, what did you guys mean specifically by that? Like wanting to make it more accessible.
I think so. Back in 2020 and 2021, when we had Zoom as an option, we could reach so many more people because since not everyone can be in person with each other, Zoom really reached out to people that we wouldn't normally have with us in person. And so not necessarily people that were joining Children for Change, but we learned from a lot of people that were like, I remember one Zoom, we had a meeting and we had someone talk about climate and environmental things from Hawaii, and we would never been able to be with them if it wasn't for Zoom. So I think Zoom reached out and like brought a lot more people together in Children for Change.
Yeah, it brought a lot of different perspectives, which is very important.
Yeah. So do you guys still participate via Zoom sometimes or not? Not really.
No, not really.
Ever since, okay. Gotcha.
Actually, they are kind of.
Yeah.
I think some of the elementary schools are doing. Actually, I don't know about this that much.
Yeah, I know some schools are either off Zoom or in person now. But thank you guys so much for sharing about Children for Change. We're going to move on to our next topic, but right before that, we're going to play a song by our good friend Ismael Lara, and we'll be right back.
This society try to crush my spirit, but my chicano soul don't fall. I'm 100 with it, mi gente dice al 100, puro pa' adelante, pa' atrás a más, que eso voy en vivo ya verás. Vamos, vamos, pa' adelante, vamos, vamos, pa' adelante, vamos, vamos, pa' adelante, vamos. You Roman silver, the 30 coins of Judas. I'm Aztec gold, abundance of wealth that will never told. I'm the mind alliance, youngest defiance, storm of stars and all the science. Duality of the serpent, don't misinterpret. I'm fine wisdom, age in the temple of the serpent. I'm the flaminess of chorus poems, wisdom that hits the soul. Nobility, we slip forth, it's hard to fight every day. We born to prove victory, not to feign decay. I'm put for chop princess, anything on her horse, ready for war. We don't die, we regenerate. Victory, our fate. On a cool breeze, I move with ease. My intellect stays strapped. I embrace my heritage. The brown, white, and the black. I got my mind on my studies, and my studies on my mind. Ready to hit back with facts. Blackjack. So what's the meaning? Historical victory from the beginning.
All right, and welcome back. So again, that was Spadelante by Ismael Lara. He did great at the open mic last week, so shout out to Ismael Lara. And we'll, again, just for those who may not know, we're going to have our next open mic at the end of the month of April, so don't go missing that out. We'll start advertising that soon, but thank you to all who came last week for that. I also just wanted to do another few announcements here. So Listos California is the state of California's emergency preparedness campaign. So you guys know all the crazy rain that we've been enduring these past few weeks is crazy. So it's always good to have a game plan of how to stay safe in those situations. So you can find 5 easy steps to prepare for any natural disaster at their website. You can text Listos CA to 72345 to receive tips in English or Spanish on how to prepare for natural disasters. You'll receive 1 tip per day at the time of your choice over the course of 1 week. So yeah, there's that resource. And as well, I just wanted to reiterate what you guys were explaining about the Children for Change event on April 23rd. So it takes place at Town Hall in San Anselmo. And it's going to be a hike up Bald Hill.
Yes.
And I just learned now that the fire truck takes you back, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there's going to be like a luncheon or kind of like a outreach kind of thing at the end.
Games, music.
Right after, yeah.
Food.
So, and that takes place from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30. So yeah, it'd be great. We'll probably be there tabling over at that event. So be good. You'll probably see all of us over there. So yeah.
So we can start with our next topic, which is going to be about talking about positive changes that we see in our community and what other changes we want to see. And first of all, do you guys have any positive changes that you guys want to mention from your community?
That you guys have seen, or like any change, like when we mean by changes is like it could be like, oh, there's a community fridge now, or there's we're seeing that there's less trash on the street, or we're seeing that more people are talking about, things like that. Like anything that you've seen.
I think I've seen more education about topics that are like present in like our society today. But I think that's been going on for a while, but I feel like for example, in my English class, we are talking a lot about racial injustice and discrimination. And I think it's great that we're learning about these things. And yeah, that's one of the changes. I don't think it's a change, but I'm glad we're doing it because it's educating all of us. And it's a topic that's really important to know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And I think what we were talking about a lot earlier is how it's great to have that balance of education and action. And I think that's kind of where our community sometimes lacks. For example, at my school, we've had like numerous presentations about like sorting out your trash and talking about
At Archie or at White Hill?
Williams,
Okay.
yeah. And yet our recycling and compost just get thrown into the trash. So there's a lot of situations like that where we have the education, which is so incredible, and awareness.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize how important that is. But it doesn't necessarily mean change if people don't act on it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And the trash thing, like even I get sometimes confused about what to put in the compost. And I've gotten more educated on that. But it's good that especially like kids, like teenagers are getting educated on that kind of stuff. Because, you go to any like restaurant or anything, they have most restaurants nowadays have like the 3 different like recycling or compost or just trash, right? but still people don't know where to put their trash. So, that's good to hear. As for me, some positive change. So I've background real quick is that I've grown up in Santa Fe my whole life, so I'm mostly familiar with this area. I know White Hill's more in the
Fairfax.
saying past Fairfax or Fairfax area, and Archie Williams and San Anselmo. Yeah. So I've gone to those places before, but I haven't spent my whole life there. So growing up, I didn't really see much like the opportunities that we have right now. I did not see a lot of those opportunities growing up. Like the food pantry, at least for me, is just a great resource that I've seen now, and you guys have seen the positive impact of being able to give families food, and you guys get busy over there at the food pantry, right?
Yeah.
See, so it goes to show that there is a need for that type of like services for people to just give out food, because it's sad. It makes me sad to know that there's families out there that struggle to just pay for groceries, and groceries right now are so expensive.
Yes.
It's like incredibly expensive. So
Eggs are expensive.
Everything is.
So that's just one of the bigger changes that I've seen in this community, where we're just seeing more people coming together, making this great change, as well as you guys helping out the homeless here in Santa Fe, especially here in Santa Fe. There's still pretty big issue with homeless people. What we do here actually at the Multicultural Center is we actually help out some of those homeless people with finding housing, supporting, because what a lot of people fail to understand is that homeless people also have their own mental health issues, like big mental health issues that a lot of people have been ignoring for a really long time. So it's important, again, that kind of work is done, because it makes like everyone better. It keeps the community like growing and keeping it safe. So those are just some of the changes. Annalie, did you want to share?
Yeah, I think like throughout the pandemic, we've gone through so much changes, and I remember like just hearing a lot of news about like big changes, and I think one of them was about changing the name of what's
Archie.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little
formerly
bit?
Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, this was before my time at Archie.
Yeah.
Drake, Archie. I mean, there you go. It's still confusing. But the process was so long. Like there were like millions of like Google forms of like voting for a name, which ended up being, I think the school actually ended up overriding that and just chose Archie Williams without
any more approval.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's been a lot because they've had to spend so much money redoing things like the track, like the field. They had to redo in the gym, all the the logos, signs. So it's a lot of money.
I see.
It's been a big discussion of like, talking about like history and Drake, like erasing history versus like educating. Yeah, I guess.
Right.
And a big issue talked about it surrounding it.
It's interesting because in middle school, I remember my English teacher talking about Sir Francis Drake. Yeah. And he was like talking about him in a bad form, and I was like, wait, why? Like, I've never heard of him. Like, I've never heard like in my school talking about him in a bad way, or giving like not a bad way, but like doing not positive impact but negative impact, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I heard this news, I was like, oh wow, like they're taking action, which is really cool to see, even though like it is a lot of expenses, but they're taking ownership of what needs to be changed.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to actually add to that. Thank you for sharing that, Annalie, because Alexandra, over at White Hill, are the history classes, like, how are the history classes there? Do they acknowledge those kinds of things, or like how do they? Because I'll share what I went through with history classes back when I was in elementary or in middle school. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I have an incredible history teacher that makes history very engaging and cool to learn about. So this year we're focusing 8th grade is world history. So US history, sorry.
Gotcha.
And we've been focusing on a lot of things that happen in the US and like from like the time the US was like founded and started till like now. We've kind of been working on that, and he always says we're becoming more informed citizens. And so we've actually been focusing on a lot of topics that are prominent in today's society. And yeah.
That's awesome. So like activism.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. See, because like when I was in history class, right, one of the things, well, elementary school especially, I remember like when kindergarten and first grade, we used to like dress up like Native Americans, and we used to do like all the pilgrim stuff and celebrate Thanksgiving that way. And at the time, as a kid, I didn't know that was pretty not okay.
Yeah.
But as I grew up, until high school, really, that's when I really learned. Because I also had, I'm so glad that you bring up like you have a great history teacher, because I think history teachers are like if you have a good one, oh my god, it's like such a fun class.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I took
That's true with every subject, though.
yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. But I think for history classes, especially with the amount of changes that are being made in that subject matter, I think it's really important. Because I had a really great, so I took an AP class in high school for U.S. history, so APUSH, and I had a fantastic history teacher who, again, only spoke the facts, didn't sugarcoat anything. And obviously at elementary schools, they want to sugarcoat everything. Well, at least at the time when I was there. Because looking back like that, Thanksgiving, if you look at the history of Thanksgiving, it's not good. It was actually horrible for Native Americans. And, you know, a lot of U.S. history, unfortunately, is like that.
Yeah.
And that just comes with living in the U.S. Because, you know, history books love making the U.S. look like it's the most perfect country in the whole world. But, you know, I'm glad that you guys at your guys' age are already aware that we have a lot of issues in this country. So that's awesome for me. That's like, again, a big change that I haven't seen before. And I know even some middle schools now and high schools are requiring kids to take an ethnic studies class, like some where they learn about different cultures. That's huge. That right there is huge to me.
Are you guys like doing that in your high school?
That's next year. That's next year's history. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because I've heard Novato High, I think, is going to do one too. So just giving a background about me, I'm from I've been raised in around Novato area. So I've been going to school in San Jose Middle School. I'm not sure if you guys heard of that. And then I went to Novato High School. So yeah, like over there, I've been seeing positive changes. I know Novato High School is very different from San Marin. San Marin background is different. Our ethnic backgrounds are different. So Novato High, there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people. And so I think one of the positive changes that I've seen personally is Dreamers Club. I'm not sure if you guys have a similar club, but it's for Spanish-speaking people to be in a club, and they talk about what they want to see changes so that they can get help. There's also a Dreamers tutoring club after school. I used to help tutor them with their homework if they didn't understand in English. So there was like a lot of opportunities for people who were speaking Spanish and English to help others who just spoke Spanish, the majority. And yeah, there's a lot of other organizations. Have you guys heard of 10,000 Degrees?
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember in elementary school, they would come in and talk about 10,000 Degrees. But it's just like, it helps. They kind of help you with college, but they also give you like, scholarships. Sorry. And especially for those who like, are a financial burden, with school, they do offer, scholarships, but you have to apply. So that's that. And I know San Marin does STEM program for high school. Do you guys have any pathway or career pathway that you guys have in high school?
We have, so I was talking about small learning communities earlier, which is freshman and sophomore having the same group of people for for some core classes.
Yeah.
There's a similar thing for juniors and seniors where it's like geared toward a specific career. So there's ComAcad, which is Communications Academy, maybe. And then there's CDisc, which is Environmental Studies. And there's, what else is there? There's Team, which is like a lot of wilderness things. It's actually really cool. They go on like on trips, like hiking and camping. There's a lot more that I'm not remembering.
Yeah, for me, there was like other programs that like I can't like say off the top of my head as well. But I was part of the medical career pathway, which is like a 4-year program in Novato, and we were like kind of like the guinea pigs. We were the first ones to start it. So, but they're basically helping other high school students get opportunities more in the medical field, well, for me personally, we did like different, every year was different. And I took like college classes, medical terminology and College of Marin through medical career pathway. And we also did like different workshops of different careers about that is in the medical field. So like, we don't get stuck in the idea of that we want to be doctors. Like there's other stuff to do, like forensics and a lot of lab stuff that you can do. But yeah, and then I don't know if you guys been to San Marin, but there's like a dog park there. I think it's always been there, but it's like still a positive impact in our community because a lot of people have dogs, and the thing for like apartments, like there's not much space for dogs to be running around. So it's really nice to see like a lot of people go in and like let their dogs like meet up. And it's like a good network. I see that it's very good to network within the community, and so you can be up to known date of what's going on.
Thank you for sharing, Annalie. I actually wanted to move towards some of the changes that we want to see in the community. Because one thing, I have a really interesting story to share here. So at White Hill, so my mom, she takes care of a lot of like kids for families, especially in the San Anselmo area. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of like familiar with it. And one of the families that she worked with was a Ukrainian family. And as you know, there's a lot going on in Ukraine. There's horrible war going on. And fortunately enough, they had some family members in Ukraine who got here safely on a plane as refugees, basically here. And what a lot of people, I think, here in Marin especially, don't understand is that not everyone here speaks English, right? There's so many people here that speak different languages, not just Spanish either. So this boy comes from Ukraine, not knowing any English, only knowing Ukrainian, and he goes to White Hill. I don't know his name off the top of the head.
I know him.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay, you know him. Okay, great. So I know his family pretty well.
My sister's like best friends with one of the family members.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Oh, okay. You know who I'm talking about. Okay. What's her name? You remember?
The
Ukrainian boy?
Yeah, Artem.
Artem, that's his name. Wow, see, small world, guys. Yeah. Small world. But so what I love about not what I love, but what I think is so, to me, really like just hit me hard was the fact that so he got put into an ELD class. So, English as a second language department. But the thing about ELD classes, and this has been a thing ever since I was in school in elementary, is that they're so underdeveloped and they are very, very not ready for teaching kids these like proper English, or like not don't have the patience for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've had some pretty bad experiences with the ELD classes, personally from my sibling who used to be in those. And just hearing some of the things like them just not really like caring or putting that much care into like putting these students like, because it's tough, man. It's tough, especially being a middle schooler and not knowing how to speak. Like English. Like that to me is
I
crazy.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
And what it's really cool about it is that he gets put into a classroom with a lot of Guatemalan people. So there's actually, so for those who may not know, Marin County made up of a lot of Guatemalan immigrants here, and a lot of them don't just speak Spanish; they speak indigenous languages. You know, that's like huge. So it's like, you know, there's all these different languages that are coming here, and it's just that to me, I would love to see a change in the ELD departments in all schools throughout the whole entire school districts here.
I actually have a story about that. We had a kid from, I'm not exactly sure where in South America he came from.
Yeah.
But he came here from somewhere in South America, and we didn't know what language he spoke. And he was in my English class, my 7th grade English class last year. And me and a friend who spoke Spanish, as well as another friend, and the teacher, we worked to figure out his language, and we realized he spoke Maya.
Oh, like a Mayan language, yeah.
And we had no idea how to communicate with him.
Yeah.
And then we later realized that on Google Classroom, which we use in our schools, you can't convert the English or whatever language it starts into the languages that some people speak.
Yeah.
We did later realize that he also spoke a little bit of Spanish. So that was really nice and really helpful because we could convert it into Spanish, but we couldn't convert it into Mayan or anything like that. And it was really hard to communicate with him for a little bit of time. But now he's doing great. And yeah, he's also in my English class this year.
Wow, that's awesome. And thank you for reaching out to him and making sure that's okay, because that's important. Another thing about a lot of ELD students, a lot of them are really lonely. A lot of them are really lonely in this county, because this county again is made up of a lot of English speaking people, and there's a lot of people that's why whenever I see like anyone that's like a Latino that's like around my age, I always try to speak out to them, just make sure that they're doing all right, because you know I've been in that position before, and I've seen it happen to others, like where it's just like they get depressed and they start doing things that aren't good, you know. And it's to break that cycle. That's like a huge cycle that I want to break here in Marin County, and that's part of the work that I do is advocating and activism to keep these things from happening and giving more opportunity. So thank you for sharing that story. That's really great.
Yeah, and when you said Mayans, I remember that like in Guatemala, so I'm like, my parents are from Guatemala, so I represent Guatemala. But they have a lot of different dialects, so like it's a lot of like just like hearing it and speaking it. So that's why it's like kind of hard to like translate it to Google. So but I really appreciate your patience to helping these people, these kids or students who are coming in as newcomers here. And personally, for me, I want to see change more into access to more internships for minorities. I know you guys also spoke about that. But for me in high school, I was very fortunate to have people show me more opportunities for minorities, but I feel like there should be more access to it, because like for me personally, I didn't know much about APs until like freshman year. And if you guys don't know, it's advanced placement. And so freshman year, I didn't take any APs. But after that, I've noticed that APs are really important for colleges. So, and I didn't even know about the PSAT until like a week after I had to take the PSAT. And it was
oh man.
And I've realized that it's not really known for like minority group about PSAT, especially first gen students. I think that's the main goal, at least for me, that I want to see change for first gen, to understand more about PSATs, APs, and different job opportunities. Because PSATs are pretty important, especially if you want to get full ride to colleges. And I've also I think you guys are setting a good example of change, especially for you guys willing to help people. And I think also for us as minority groups too, like it's important for us to be willing to accept the help. Because
Yeah. Sometimes we're like we want to
we're very egoist. I don't know how to say it, but like very sometimes we're not willing to accept help, you know.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be the case, because everyone needs help at certain points in life, because that's how life is. We're always up and down. So yeah, and I also like recently we went to a job fair, me and my coworkers.
Yeah, did you guys hear about that? The career fair over at Mill Valley yesterday? Youth career fair?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh.
We had one at Archie. I mean,
okay.
yeah, but I don't normally hear about the things in Mill Valley.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish it was more Connect, actually.
Well,
connected. Yes. Well, I'm kidding.
Well, there you go.
So we went to the job fair over there because we're also planning for Tay to host a own job fair as well
here at MCM.
at MCM. And our main goal is to have minorities come in and see the opportunities that they can have for internships. But everyone is welcome. It's just that our main goal, for
It's to help these minorities get jobs, because it's tough for like a lot of these minority groups. They're ready to work, but it's really hard to find places that accept them. And accept. So it's tough, but we're willing to put in the work in making that possible. But again, we also want to keep it as like an open fair and festival for all school districts here in the area. So hey, we might reach out to
great.
Archie Williams about that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Archie could use that. I think that it's a very much a bubble. It's perceived as a bubble and treated as like just the majority, like you were talking about, English speaking, and it's kind of generalized to a very privileged viewpoint. And especially in like history and English, like social justice issues are talked about a lot, but it's also talked about from the perspective of a white person.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you want to be aware of your privilege as if there's not people who are less privileged in the classroom. And that mindset just needs to change, because so many people, while it is the minority, they're still there. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think it's great to hear from people. I guess I don't know how to say it, but people from like
people of color.
Yeah, people of color. For example, I think listening to what they have to say and learning about their experiences is really important to growing yourself too. And I think it's important to not only like talk about and advocate for, but also and like be an ally towards, but also listen to what they have to say, because they're the ones experiencing the, for example, microaggressions or the inequalities. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, both of you for sharing that. Because again, it's just what the work that both of you are putting in is, again, that one step closer to us reaching that true equality, that true, amount of diversity that we want Marin County to be. Because like you were saying, Marin County, when you think about it, you just mostly think of privilege, right? Privileged white people. And that's unfortunately still kind of how it is. Yeah. But we are seeing a lot of positive changes in that aspect of seeing more marches, especially for what happened with the Mateo incident. I don't know if you guys heard about that last year, where the SRPD knocked that Latino garden worker that was out there. So, so I'm actually going to be in an event tonight talking about that. So, again, thank you both for being on the show with us today. It's been an honor to get to know more about Children for Change, as well as your guys' perspectives. Did you guys have any last minute words or anything else you guys wanted to let the audience know?
I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know if you have anything to say, but it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us. I had a great time.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for coming in, taking the time. I know you have a very busy schedule, and I'm sure you have a very busy schedule, but we really appreciate you guys taking the time to explain more about Children for Change, and hopefully our audience who's watching is interested in doing this as well, because it's a really good opportunity, especially if you want to be more involved in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you. That was Tay Radio Marin, and we will catch you all next week. So take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.